not the views of ZNS TV 13, and by extension, the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition, a plane crash in western New Providence, a new consulate office to open in Los Angeles, a music legend passes, and in sports, day 2 of Hugh Campbell Hoops. The Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition, starts now. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jumanita Swain, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Thanks so much for tuning in. Topping news, a pilot is lucky to be alive tonight after narrowly escaping what could have been a tragic plane crash yesterday. The male pilot was the lone person on board a twin-engine Cessna 402 aircraft that crashed shortly after taking off from the Lynden Pindling International Airport before 5 p.m. Investigators believe the aircraft experienced engine failure soon after takeoff, and within minutes, the plane crashed into a swampy area just off Coral Harbor Road near Odyssey Airport. The pilot, with only seconds to spare, was able to get himself out of the aircraft before it erupted into flames. Police, along with Aircraft Accident Investigation Authority officials, are still early into their investigations. Chief Superintendent Elvis Curtis, officer in charge of the airport division, says the pilot, who was headed to Fresh Creek Andros, is expected to be fine.
The pilot was able to walk away from the aircraft. There's one solo on board. He's able to walk away from the aircraft. He experienced some chest issues, and he was taken to Doctors Hospital.
Well, Kendall Dorset with the Aircraft Accident Investigations say investigations are ongoing as they try to determine the exact cause of this crash.
The aircraft is completely destroyed by fire. But like I said, we're still preliminary, gathering whatever evidence we can from the scene that will aid us in coming to a conclusion about the cause of the incident.
Also from police tonight, a video of a nude woman making the rounds on social media has caught the attention of police. The video, recorded in the Garden Hills community, shows the woman acting erratically after 8 on Saturday night. Police say the 46-year-old female is known to have a mental disorder and was transported to hospital accompanied by family members, where she is receiving medical care. Police remind members of the public that mental illness exists, and when persons exhibit unstable behavior by exposing their body parts, it should not be exploited. Police warn persons found intentionally publishing and disseminating information about vulnerable individuals in such a state will be prosecuted. Members of the public who are aware of persons who have mental illness are asked to contact the Community Counseling and Assessment Center on Collins Avenue at 323-3293 or 5, or the national hotline at 422-2763 or 322-2763. Now, persons needing urgent care can be taken to the Princess Margaret Hospital, where a psychiatrist is always available. Well, a traffic fatality over in Grand Bahama that claimed the life of a 27-year-old woman now under investigation by officers there. What we can tell you is that sometime around midnight on Friday, February 2nd, Traffic Division officers received a report of a traffic accident on East Sunrise Highway involving a gray Chevy vehicle. It's reported that the female was traveling west on East Sunrise Highway in the area of the Lucayan roundabout when she lost control of the vehicle and collided with a tree. She sustained serious injuries from the accident and was transported to hospital by EMS personnel. Now, that victim was later airlifted to New Providence for further medical attention. However, on Friday, February 16th, she succumbed to her injuries while in hospital. Investigations into this matter continue. Now, with the recent spate of homicides and violent crimes that's gripped the country over the last few weeks, police officials reiterating its commitment to the crime fight. Police Press Liaison Officer Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings.
The family is the basic unit of society. And if families can't get it right, then we're going to have some challenges as to what we've seen. As an organization, though, we remain firm. We remain relentless. We will continue to work with all stakeholders, providing information and providing assistance wherever possible. But we simply just ask the Bahamian people to continue to partner with your Royal Bahamas Police Force, the #1 policing department in the Caribbean.
Skipping's urging Bahamians to partner with the police to tackle crime. This after the Davis administration has pledged additional resources to assist in crime-fighting initiatives, which includes more manpower and resources.
We have an aggressive approach. We have a number of operations that are ongoing, and those operations are going to continue. And again, I want to encourage members of the public. You see our officers from the traffic division as well, always out in full force. That will also continue as well. So all of the minor offenses, we are aggressively targeting, and we're going to put persons before the courts for those minor infractions. Once those minor infractions are controlled by members of the public, or they adhere to the minor infractions, I can assure you we will definitely see a reduction in our major crimes.
Well, a group of men echoing the sentiments expressed by the Prime Minister and the police when they say something needs to be done about crime. That includes homicides and the links to gangs. And that also means everyone working on solutions.
One of the things that we oftentimes don't consider is the fact that many of our men that are in these gangs, they feel trapped. They feel as though there is no escape for them, and so many of them clutch. They have weapons that they hold on to defend themselves. And the hope that comes only through Jesus Christ.
Pastor Mario Moxie is a part of a group of men from differing civic and political divides stepping in to make a connection with troubled youth. The group, or the Brotherhood, say they are well aware of the challenges, but there is a solution.
As cliche as it may sound, Jesus is still the only way, the truth, and the life. And there is a path for them to get out. Many of us as pastors have eulogized young men who've lost their lives in gang violence, and it's a very sad occasion. The families that are left behind, the families that carry the burden of that loss.
The month of January saw 25 homicides, and police acknowledging 13 of those slayings have been solved. Minister for the Environment and Natural Resources, the Honorable Vaughn Miller, also a part of the Brotherhood, says the work is about nation building.
Each of us wanted to be said that we made a contribution to building a better Bahamas. Each of us would like to leave this country better than we've met it. I know the Boys Brigade, Brother Palmer says he'd rather build a boy than mend a man. But we have to do some mending.
Opposition member Shannon Dawn Cartwright also joining the fight to save young men.
Young men in particular are always looking for, naturally, recognition, love, the opportunity to be recognized. And what we have to begin to do is, instead of them looking for that in criminal activity, to show them and to emphasize to them through spiritual direction.
And for the final word to the gangbangers.
And I encourage the young men to live, find a way to escape and to live for the sake of your families.
Still to come, a new consulate office set to open. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. More news in a moment.
This week we're taking a break from the farms and we're hanging out with some people from the Department of Marine Resources, where they are conducting routine checks on conch. I'm Leah Cooper, and this is Good to Grow.
Good to grow, keeping you in the know. know, cause if it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow. If it's good enough to eat, then it's good to grow.
In an effort to safeguard the country's conch population, the Department of Marine Resources conducts routine checks of local fishers' catches to collect data that would inform and support decisions made by the department and lawmakers.
So in terms of conch regulations and conch management, the data advises us of the conch stock populations over time. So the goal is to collect random data samples, small, large, medium, and that informs the department's measurements as we go forward, because it allows us to get a snapshot of what the landings look like, the stock look like, so that when we make decisions concerning the conch, we are well informed and we understand the decisions that we're making and how they impact everyone.
Assistant Fisheries Officer Candace Russell states that officers gather data weekly. Additionally, they collect information from processors and vendors at Potter's Key and the Golden Gates Fish Market. Russell further discusses ongoing considerations regarding conch fishing practices.
So under the law right now, the law states that the conch only has to have a flared lip. But as you know, new regulations are going to be passed on, and under those regulations it's proposed that we implement a minimum lip thickness regulation, and that would be 14 millimeters. The reason for that is it relates to sexual maturity in conch. And so we want to make sure that whenever the conch is taken out of the water, that we want them to be sexually matured conch that have had an actual chance to add to the population and reproduce.
You see, results of stock assessments completed over the years indicate that our conch fishery is under heavy pressure from fishing activities, and officials warn that if management measures are not put in place to safeguard the fishery, it could eventually be closed. Russell gave us a demonstration on how they collect their data. All right, so now Ms. Russell is going to teach us exactly how the fisheries officers measure the conch.
Okay, so this is the basic conch shell. This is the lip, this is the spine, and this is the spiral. So you want to open up your caliper after you have zeroed it, and you want to find the largest spine, and you want to follow that adjacent to the conch lip. And you want to go about an inch onto the conch lip, and that's how you measure.
She also allowed me to assist.
The largest spine, and you want to follow that to the conch lip, and you want to place your caliper about an inch onto the conch lip.
All right. I don't think I pressed the right button. Well, let's leave the data collection and measuring to the professionals. Now, the government has already moved to discontinue commercial quantities on conch exports. This came into effect in January of 2022. The government is also moving to amend the existing legislation to remove conch from the sport fishing bag limits, in addition to other measures. However, the timeline for this isn't set in stone. Keeping you in the know with Good to Grow, I'm Leah Cooper.
This portion of the news is brought to you by FoCall SmartPass, the smart way to pay at the pump.
Thanks for staying with us. A new consulate office will be opening its doors come Monday, February 19th in Los Angeles, California. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced earlier today that Prime Minister the Honorable Philip Davis, KC, will officially open the office. Officials say the opening reaffirms the commitment of the Davis administration to protect all Bahamians and further the country's economic interest and provide consular support for Bahamians on the west coast of the United States. The office will be headed by Consul General Joy Newbold and will eventually house offices for the Ministry of Tourism, Investment and Aviation. Foreign Affairs Minister the Honorable Fred Mitchell welcomes the new consulate and anticipates that this office will not only provide consular services but help to forge people-to-people connections and bring Bahamians one step closer to Bahamian arts and culture being performed internationally. Now to some sad news. Condolences pouring in over the death of a Bahamian musical icon. Desmond Sanders has this.
For many Bahamians, Priscilla Rollins was a queen of Bahamian soul. The Bahamian musical goddess is being remembered as a towering figure and icon who paved the way for emerging female artists. Bahamian musical pioneer Fred Mullings.
Priscilla was one of the female vocalists who excelled. There were not many during her era. The only two that I can think of any predominance were maybe Eloise Lewis, who was the premier female vocalist during that era, and Maureen Duvalier, who was Bahama Mama. Other than that, as solo artist, I'm talking about now, Priscilla probably was the next generation after those two iconic female vocalists.
Priscilla's song, Independence Morning, remains one of the most beloved patriotic tributes of our time. Letter from Miami was another mega hit from the international recording artist. The icon catapulted the music scene as a teenager, singing with her mother in a gospel group during the late 50s and 60s. In the mid to late 60s, she joined the Mighty Makers. The group gained much national success and international notoriety for musical greats Cedric Munnings and Chris Fox. Priscilla's life serves as a shining testament.
There was a club on Bay Street going on East Street called Sin. I know if you remember that, on going out to Bay Street on the right-hand side. And we always had this joke with that I took out the church and carried it in Sin. But the club, the name of the club was Sin. That's where we first heard Priscilla Rollins. It was her, Anita Brown, and Beattie McKenzie.
Yeah, Priscilla had a great impact when we started out, because at that time, like I say, she was one of the only female singer out there at the time. So that gave her a great impact. And then she was with us, the Mighty Makers, which we had was strong at the time. So
in 1972, Priscilla left the Mighty Makers to pursue a solo career, teaming up with famed Bahamian producer and entertainer Tony McKay. McKay took her to New York, where she recorded her first album. Her last known public appearance came during the 50th independence celebrations. She was 79. Desmond Saunders, The Bahamas Tonight.
In case you missed the news or want to stay ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Facebook.
No, they knew somewhere. Aha! I said, catch me last time. They catch me this time.
Spencer, what you running on with? And I sent you to the shop long time for the lad for me to put in this pot.
Yeah, man. So you'll be all up in my grit. But I asked you to cook me this morning. You ain't cooking
Well, Vingston, this year say, showing your sailors, and you ready for the grave.
You good?
Where?
To the repast for your wave made rest in peace. Listen, it just say 200 young sailors could be out to this thing. And they say it could be fun, it could be prizes and surprises. And guess what?
What?
Surprise you, I'm going.
You ain't want to carry me, but
don't touch me, nephew. Nephew! What? Let's show them what we can do.
That's a Reggie. Show them what we
do. Just for the young people, miss, man. Anyway, while they're in the stage shaking up herself, I can see you on the 22nd through 24th, right over Montague.
Uncle, you forget?
What?
When it's from the junior jungle on the school pop band could be there.
Oh, well, I can't miss this.
Vincent!
I hope you called me for my grits.
In the Yellow Elder Garden, Ali and her cousins listened to Grammy share tales. The 70s so sweet, with themed costumes and dancing feet. Then came the brass, reaching new heights. A symphony of Bahamian nights. The 2000s, the Yellow Elder, a symbol of pride. Grammy's legacy in view as Ali dances in her Yellow Elder costume. We are alive.
100 public school students' learning experiences will be enhanced after a generous donation by the Embassy of the People's Republic of China, the Bahamas. Chinese Ambassador Dai King Lee, during a recent courtesy call on Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin, donated 100 electronic tablets to be distributed to students.
We understand how much the schools have gone through during the pandemic, and we know some children have been suffering as a result of their education. So we are very very glad to be of some help in terms of facilitating their online learning and access to technology and to computer science and technology. So we hope with this small gesture, we would be able to demonstrate our friendship to the Ministry of Education and to the public school system and to all the students and staff in the public schools.
Minister Hannah Martin expressed much gratitude, noting that the gesture is timely.
We are actually in the Ministry of Education in the beginnings of a major thrust for technology to be housed and integrated into our public schools, primary, junior, and senior high, because we believe that in a 21st century reality, our young people must be savvy with these technical skills and be comfortable and able to, with ease, navigate technology that exists out there in the world.
And with that, I'm Adama Williams for Ed Talk.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to your Sunday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports day 2 of the 2023 Hugh Campbell basketball tournament getting underway last night at the Kendall G.L. Isaacs Gymnasium. A trio of games on deck. Look at the scores in the opener. The Agape Christian Eagles out of Abaco taking on the R.M. Bailey Pacers. Early on, the Eagles would use their athleticism to get out to an early double-digit lead before the Pacers would come storming back. But ultimately, it would be too little, too late. And Agape out of Abaco would take their opener 59-54. Joshua Cornish led the way with 15 points. Keith Bonnaby led the Pacers with 13.
We started off slow, picked it up in the middle, and slacked off a little bit at them, but pulled it out like you said. So I'm proud of the boys. They play with a lot of effort. That second and third quarter, they get that big lead, and we closed it out. That's all that matters. A win is a win.
Coach Johnson also speaking on the importance of these games for the Family Island teams.
Yeah, I think it's an awesome experience for the Family Island teams to come and just play in this environment, play different schools that we don't get to play. The kids really look forward to it, and it's a good experience.
Game 2, the BAISS champions, the CW Saunders Cougars, playing their second game of the tournament, facing off against the Telios Christian Cherubims. And on paper, this one would seem like a cakewalk. Then again, basketball is played on the floor. Telios hanging with the Cougars for most of this one, trailing only by 4 at the half, and after 3 still remained in striking distance. But the fourth quarter, the Cougars' depth would prove to be just a bit too much. 15 apiece from Nikiro Brown and Ramon Woods would help CW Saunders seal the 60-45 win and advance to 2-0 in the tournament.
I'm not pleased. At this level, we still have too much mistakes, and our start is just extremely slow. My team, I don't know, but they have to take a while to get going. So with good teams, the time we did to get going, the game could be on 15, 20 points. So we got to get better there.
In the third and final game, a BAISS showdown. The Jordan Prince William Falcons facing off against the St. John's Green Giants. Story of this one, Prince Will's defense holding St. John's to 25% shooting from the field. Certainly a long night for the Giants. Prince Will with a balanced scoring effort with 3 players in double figures, led by 15 from Jakeo Kemp. They would win this one pretty much without breaking a sweat, 55-27.
First and foremost, we'd like to thank God for the victory. This is the first game for the Hugh Campbell, and it's a nice game today. The guys came out slightly sluggish, but we was able to pick it back up in the second half.
Fresh for a world record-setting performance last weekend in the Millrose Games, Bayman professional hurdler Devin Charlton speaking with his ZNS Total Sports team, giving this bit of advice to up-and-coming athletes.
I would say take advantage of the moment. Sports is such a great privilege because not everybody gets to participate, and so I think discovering your talents and taking them as far as you possibly can, I think is a good thing. Because, I mean, not everybody can be a professional athlete, but I think even just the participation in sports, the character it builds, the relationships you form, the networking, and then you get athletic scholarships. And so like now you're talking about getting degrees and furthering your career. And so I think just in that way alone, there's so many opportunities. And I would say just take advantage of everything you can get.
And that's a look at your sports on this Sunday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
working season. We got impact windows and doors. For protection, just come to our store. Plus we got tiles to pretty up your walls and your floors. We'll help you brighten up for that big bad storm. Porcelain tiles, blank tiles, mosaic tiles, a variety of styles. Before teens get right, they gotta be rough. That's why we got the best deals in the whole Bahamas. Hey, hey.
Join the ZNS Television Network as we rebroadcast the 50th anniversary celebrations launch event of the University of the Bahamas this Tuesday, and it's only on the ZNS Television Network.
It's time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean joins us in the studio with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Jimenita. We have partly cloudy skies, and that will be changing overnight. 81 degrees is the current temperature. The relative humidity, 73%. The winds are out of the south at that's around 15 miles per hour. The barometric pressure, 1,009.9 millibars. That is 29.85 inches. Temperatures around the islands, 71 in Marshall, Babaco. Also, Greentoe Key at 71 degrees. Freeport reporting 71 degrees as well. The Berry Islands warmer at 77. Alistown, Bimini, 75. 79 degrees in Harbor Island, Roxanne, Eleuthera 80, 82 degrees in Fresh Creek, Central Andros. In South Andros, that's Camps Bay, 87 degrees there. 87 also in Black Point, Exuma, Artistan, Cat Island, 80 degrees, 80 in San Salvador and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 2 degrees up at 82, 82 in Ragged Island, Clarence, Sound Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 83, Acklands, 83, Matthewtown, Inagua at 81, and the Turks and Caicos Islands, 82 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight through tomorrow for the Northwest and Central Islands. The winds southwest to west at 12 to 18 knots, wave height 3 to 6 feet. Low tide, that will take place at 9:22 tonight. You can expect a second low tide just around 10:35 tomorrow morning. Now for the southeast Bahamas, southeast winds at 10 to 15 knots. The wave heights at 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. Satellite pictures showing some prefrontal cloudiness and showers moving across the northwest Bahamas, and that will continue to fire pockets of showers during the course of the night. The frontal system still pretty much over northern Florida. That will continue to sink towards the south and east. We expect it to move into the northwest Bahamas tomorrow, and by tomorrow night, it should push through the capital, leaving behind some cooler temperatures. Windy and warm conditions tonight with occasional rain as we get late into the night and early morning hours. Low temperature just around 73 degrees, and tomorrow, windy again with periods of rain. 76 degrees for the high temperature extended weather forecast. The wet stuff will be with us through Monday. Come Tuesday, we might get 1 or 2 brief sprinkles during the early morning hours, but thereafter things will clear up in the afternoon, and that will take us through the balance of next week with lots of sunshine returning to the forecast. But most importantly, we will see some more comfortable temperatures in the 60s during the nighttime that will carry us right through the weekend. Jimenita.
Thanks, Basil. It was definitely a post-Valentine's Day treat for wine connoisseurs and those that wanted to make it a special night. The tasting series Swirl, now in its 13th year, hosting scores to wine tasting and pairings with Copper Cane wine. Take a look.
Right now, we have almost 300 persons at this event. This event is not just catered to guests of the hotel, it's also catered to the local community.
Public Relations Manager at the Atlantis Resort, Xavier Knowles, on the breakdown on who was attracted to the Swirl event.
We have a buffet lined out, wines by Copper Cane, and amazing Bahamian entertainment that you can hear right behind us. We do this event so that we can bring a unique experience to our local community. We're also situated on the picturesque Ocean Club Golf Course at the Ocean Club Clubhouse, and it's become the home event or the signature location for this Swirl event.
The Ocean Clubhouse was transformed to accommodate a number of wine and food stations for the perfect pairing. Also on hand was Philip Jarrell of Webb Banks.
The partnership with